Hey guys, welcome back to another Chingo Gringo beer review. Today I have a Belgian Abbey beer for you. How's that for a little change of pace? Okay, this beer has been brewed for the last 940 years. What beer am I talking about? I'm talking about Affligem Blonde. This is a certified Abbey beer. It is not a Trappist beer. What is the difference? Well, the difference is simple. What is the difference between champagne and sparkling white wine? Big difference, right? Big difference between Abbey ale and a Trappist beer. A Trappist beer is brewed by monks themselves, and Abbey beer is a beer that is only brewed in the Trappist style. Now, this beer was brewed up until the 1950s by the monks at the Affligem Abbey. This abbey was founded in 1074 by a group of 6 knights who hung up their swords and decided to become monks, put on robes and become monks, with the permission of Anno II, which was the Cardinal of Cologne. They built the abbey and brewed beer for a long time, and a lot of monks after them brewed this beer. Like I said, it was brewed by the monks up until around the 1950s, and recently the group that owns Heineken picked this brand up, but it's still brewed with the same recipes. It's brewed a couple kilometers down the way. Sorry about the noise behind me. I decided to come out to the pool, but it's a little noisy today. A lot of families out here today, so I hope that's not gonna mess up the video today. So anyway, talking about the beer again. This beer is brewed commercially about a couple kilometers up the way in a Flemish village called Opwijk, something like that. Very difficult to pronounce. And so let's get this beer poured up and see what we're talking about. Now, the way this Belgian beers, Belgian Abbey beers, Belgian Trappist beers, like this one uses, as you can see, double fermentation. What that means is there's a primary fermentation that occurs in the big fermentation vessel, and then they bottle it, and then they add more yeast and a little more sugar, and that creates carbonation in the bottle and gives some extra flavors. So to pour this beer properly, you have to pour 90% of the beer into the glass, and today I'm using a special glass, tulip glass, for this beer to trap the aromas in the beer, and also because I don't have an Affligem goblet, that's hard for me to say today for some reason, to pour this beer in. So I'm gonna pour it in my tulip glass here. So let me pour it. Like I said, you pour 90% of the beer. Now this is what they call the body of the beer, and later I'll show you what they call the soul. Okay, that's about right. So leave about 10% in the bottom of the glass. So what you end up with is a very clear beer here, very clear, right, leaving the sediment behind. This is called the body, and the sediment that's left in the bottle is called the depot, right? So I'm gonna shake the depot around, now the depot, the thing I poured up just before is called the body, the 90% part, the clear part. The other part of the beer, guess what that's called? You got it. It's called the soul. So I'm just going to swirl the beer around a little bit to stir up the soul there, and I'm going to pour it in a separate glass. Now, you know, they have their own, they bring a little tray to your table in Belgium when you have a beer like this. It includes a small, I'm going to use a snifter glass. But they have a small, like a tulip glass that they use to pour it in. So I'm going to pour the soul now. I already poured the body, now I'm pouring the soul. And of course, the soul is a lot more, a lot completely different, a lot more cloudy, different color there, and of course it's going to taste differently. So let's get a nose on this beer and see what we're talking about. Okay, I get like a spicy, nutty, like a lemony also aroma in there. What else am I smelling in this beer? A lot of like spicy character to the aroma, and sweetness, a sweet aroma in there as well, kind of a floral. A lot of those aromas are imparted by the Belgian yeast that they use. Kind of maybe a little bit of a nutty, kind of a nutty aroma in there as well. Okay, so let's go first, before I take a taste. The head poured about 2 fingers, maybe 2.5, and it's starting to dissipate now, but it's holding itself there pretty well. So let's have a taste. Wow, it's a lot of carbonation in this beer. Of course, it's bottle conditioned, fermented in the bottle, and so you get a lot of carbonation when you do that. And it's just like a, I don't know, like a very strong sensation of from the carbonation on your tongue, on your palate there. I get a spicy blast up front, kind of like spicy, citrusy. In the middle, I get a little bit of nutty and smooth taste, and at the end, I get a, let me see, I get a nice bitter finish on this beer. So speaking about the ABV of this beer has 6.8%, and really this beer can be a dangerous beer. Sorry about that, set that down too loud. This beer can be potentially dangerous because I detect a lot of these flavors that I mentioned, but I don't really detect a strong flavor of alcohol like you would expect with an almost 7% beer. Yeah, that's really nice. Now, let's get to the second part of this tasting, which includes the depot, the soul of the beer. Right? They call it the soul because it contains all the proteins, all of the yeast sediment there, just like the body contains the soul. The soul, they call it, the depot, contains a lot of B vitamins, so it's really healthy for you. Some people like to pour their soul back into the body. Some people like to drink the soul first and then the body. I like to drink the body then the soul. Whatever you like, whatever floats your boat. So let's taste the soul, shall we? First, let's get a... Wow, the aromas are much more intense with this, of course. Get that lemony, what's the word I'm looking for? Spicy aromas here, lemony, maybe a little bit of orange peel in there. not as nutty aroma as I detected in the other, the body part, the clear part. So let's give this a try, shall we? Wow, very different than the other part. Not as strong in the carbonation, because it has a lot of the yeast that is suspended there and the proteins. So maybe that's cutting back on the carbonation. Not that strong, spicy taste up front. And that don't detect as much as the lemon, much of the lemon as I did, lemony, citrusy type of flavor there as I did in the first beer. What else? Let me do another taste of this Soul here. I'm consuming Soul. That's Soul. No. Now, what is my favorite between the two? I don't think I really have a favorite. I really like this part of the beer because it's clear and it has a nice, strong, crisp, clean taste with a strong carbonation, followed by a very nice bitter finish. This, however, is a completely different animal, and also is nice as well. Just got my B vitamins for today, guys. So, what am I going to give this beer today? What rating am I going to give it? I really like this beer. I would like to have seen it to be continued to be brewed by the monks in the abbey, but you know, times change and money talks and all that. So I am happy to hear that they're still using the original recipes, which I hope they continue to do so, and they don't stop that, because this is a really lovely beer. So I'm going to give this beer today a rating of 8.5 out of 10. It's a really nice beer. I would like to see a little bit more head retention. As you can see, it's completely gone, and other beers of this type tend to hold the head a little bit better. Mouthfeel is medium. It's a nice mouthfeel. Color, beautiful amber golden color to the beer, and lovely aromas, and a really nice flavor followed by a bitter finish. Okay, so that's the score I'm giving, 8.5 for the Affligem Blonde. So that's all for this edition of Chingo Gringo. Here hanging out with a nice blonde by the pool. So until I see you next time, remember to subscribe and comment and like if you enjoyed watching the video. Also share the video with your friends. And until next time, we'll see you guys. And remember, keep pouring them up and keep drinking them out. Keep drinking them down. Cheers, guys.